Hey kids, the long week is over. The heat of the day has turned into the cool of the night. It's Summer Fridays. It's time for some fun. It's time for some giggles. It's time for some cartoons. Let's start the night off with a brand new episode of Right Here on Summer Fridays, only on Cartoon Network.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time. In fact, it's been 2 years and some change since I released a video, but here I am, I'm back for all of you. Cartoon Network is 30 years old. Cartoon Network is going through a serious issue right now, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on it. In fact, a lot of people have talked about this. I believe a lot of people are in the right place, but are still fighting a fight that is not worth fighting for. Cartoon Network is 30 years old, and they're in a place where a lot of their original animated content is on the chopping block or already has been on the chopping block. It's getting slashed from HBO Max. It is being discontinued. And you know why? Partially, it's because of Cartoon Network in the past. Partially, it's because of what Warner Brothers did to Cartoon Network in the past. But presently, it's because it's over. The COVID-era lockdowns that made people watch constantly from their phones, it's over. And so you need to lose that content. And I don't mean lose, you need to discontinue the overproduction of content. Now, the bigger issue is that Warner Discovery wants to create a new streaming service after slashing HBO Max. That's what the overall plan is by next year, they're going to make a new thing. I don't know how that's going to work. I feel like that will crash and burn almost immediately, simply on the fact that you've given me no commitment that in 2 years this library is even going to be around. You just slashed HBO Max for what? Because you want to put something with the name Discovery in it? Well, Disney has already shown you a pretty good policy on how to combine two different streaming services owned by the same company. Disney owns most of Hulu, and Disney obviously owns Disney+. But they have a deal right now together. I don't know why Discovery Plus and HBO Max are not a bundle. Hell, Discovery Plus, I don't think people care. There are millions of people that are subscribed to it, but I don't think many people care about Discovery Plus at all. People actually gave a care about HBO Max. There was a lot of content on there. Duck Dodgers still isn't there. I'm very disappointed. But getting to the grand point, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are mad that this is being enacted. And what I have to tell you is, we saw this writing on the wall in 2017. In the 25th anniversary, we talked about this, the fact that Cartoon Network was operating at a severe ratings decline, and they were still pumping out original animation as if the ratings were just as good as they were 5 years before the 25th anniversary. And it just wasn't. This was never going to be long-term successful. There needed to be a turn. There needed to be success somewhere. And even though these are acclaimed shows, this is great content, these are shows that people love. But the problem is, people aren't watching it. Enough people aren't watching this content. And I love the creators behind these shows. I love all of it. But it comes down to the fact that parents don't care what their kids watch. Kids aren't committed to Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network's days of being a kid-focused network are over. Even though they're still trying with Cartoonito. We could talk about that later. They're still talking about Cartoonito. They're doing all these things, trying to keep the kids around. It's like, dude, kids are watching TikTok. They're watching YouTube. Your time is over. Nick is still good enough to keep that relevance. Disney is still relevant enough. Disney Channel is still relevant enough. Cartoon Network is just grasping at straws, man. No one cares about Cartoon Network. And I'm just being honest with you. Our age, we care about it. But here's the key issue. Our age was never given the care. That there was a chance for Cartoon Network to keep the fans around. They had that opportunity. They had that opportunity before they turned Cartoon Network into a kid-focused channel. We talked about this in many of the Attack the Block episodes. Cartoon Network, once they turned toward kids in the mid-2000s and they separated all the adult content and they pushed everything to Adult Swim, that's when Cartoon Network declined. That was it. Once it became Kids WB, the cable channel, with some Cartoon Network identity and then lost all of it with Teen Titans Go airings. I mean, what is Cartoon Network now? Why would you even watch Cartoon Network now? You know? Adult Swim, thankfully, is still around. It's still floating. I appreciate the fact that Adult Swim is still there, but there's a reason why it's one of the highest rated time slot areas on cable still, because of the content. And there's a reason why, in like before and after that, there is no interest whatsoever in what Cartoon Network is doing. So, American animation, we know this, is not treated like anime. The modern audience does not treat American animation the way that it could have, the way that it did when Boomerang was a block on the Cartoon Network in the late 90s. The issue is just that we are not treating American animation with care or consideration. And so when that happens, of course, you're going to have this slashing. You're going to have the bare minimum of content at that point. Again, we've seen this. It will continue to happen, and it should not be surprising. I'm not even disappointed anymore, because Cartoon Network lost me years ago. When you realize the loss of care started more than a decade ago, and it's just been snowballing, there's really nothing that could have actually changed for the better. And I really, really hoped for years. That's why I started talking about Cartoon Network. That's why I attempted. Remember, Cartoon Network did a Friday night block. They brought back Friday night blocks with a bunch of different shows, and no one watched it. No one watched it, and boom, it goes to Teen Titans Go. Because they're looking for money, and people keep getting mad at the bottom line. It's like, dude, there's no way that they're going to make money when people aren't even watching the content. Or if they see in their subscriber rates, if they look at the metadata and they see, oh, every 95% of people on HBO Max don't watch Cartoon Network content that's on it. They don't watch even the HBO Max original animation content. It's like, well, that tells you something. It tells you a lot. It's like, why would we invest more of this? It's over. So, for Cartoon Network's 30th anniversary, they're going to do some small stuff, some magical stuff that people will lose their minds about, or they'll say, they could be doing this. It's like, it doesn't matter. Cartoon Network stands firmly in third on cable for kid-focused programming. And they stand at irrelevance. And they've stood at irrelevance for over 5 years now. We've talked about this before. The Future of Cartoon Network video, about 2018, 19, and 20. We talked about the fact that kids don't even count Cartoon Network in a top 50 brands list. The brand is irrelevant. It is time to shut it down, unless you're actually going to target the audience that originally went behind it. As I've told my friends this so many times, why doesn't HBO Max have a Toonami section? You have the Crunchyroll section, which they don't even own anymore, yet you still have Toonami. You could have rebranded that over a year or 2 years ago. They haven't done anything at all for it. So there's just missed opportunities all around. On cable, on streaming, everywhere. And if you're still invested in Cartoon Network, I really appreciate that. But I think you're fighting a losing battle. You're fighting a battle that does not matter anymore, which is why I stopped talking about it. Now, when I come back and make more videos, I'll talk about the past. I'll talk about Attack the Block. I'll talk about more content. But I'm not going to talk about really much to do of the present day Cartoon Network. So, happy 30th birthday to a network that no longer matters.